friends, welcome to today's video. I decided to take a break from my regular artwork and challenge myself to make art every day for a week. The only rule was it had to be in a different style or medium than what I'm used to. I normally make floral or animal acrylic paintings and colored pencil drawings. The purpose of this challenge was not to make perfect, sellable, or even good art, but to explore, experiment, and just have fun. I want to encourage you, if you're stuck in a rut of making the same type of art all the time, just take a week to be free, de-stress, and have fun. On day one, I chose collage as my first piece of art, mainly because I really have zero experience with this style of art, and it felt the most intimidating of all the options that I could think of. I looked around my house for materials that I could use. We didn't have any real magazines, but I found some random junk mail and scrap papers. I also found this old devotional book with the words to Amazing Grace, and I thought that it would be perfect to incorporate into my collage to make this piece an inspirational reminder of how good God has been to me, not only through the challenges of trying to start an art business, but also just over the course of my life in general. You can probably tell that I had no idea what I was doing. I used an acrylic medium to glue pieces of cutout flowers and shapes just randomly around the page. Like I said, I didn't want these art projects to require much thought or effort or planning, just to freely create something and see what it turns out to be. Even if that turns out messy or ugly, sometimes you just have to make ugly art. I decided that it looked really a little bit bare, so I got out my acrylics and decided to paint some acrylic flowers onto my collage to just give it a little bit of extra something. The flowers were not showing up very well over all of the dark papers that I used, so I decided to get out my Posca pens and trace the flowers after the acrylic paint dried, and then I went back in with the white, kind of put in some little highlights and marks just to finish off the piece, to try to make it look somewhat complete. So this is what I ended up with. I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. It was definitely a relaxing art project. Day two was so much fun for me. I found this cute reference photo of a bunny, and I decided to make a small 5x7 card using watercolors. I got this set of watercolors a couple years ago, and I never really used it. My kids have borrowed it a couple of times, but really most of my experience with watercolor are those little Crayola cake pans that you use in elementary school. So this was a totally new experience for me. I decided to spray it with water first, and I don't know why I did that. I'm thinking now I probably should have sprayed the paints. I don't know. Again, I didn't know what I was doing, but I got it really wet and then just started to add colors in different places. But as you can see, like up here at the ear, I think I had too much water because it just started to spread everywhere. So with this picture, I wanted to stay true to myself. And if you guys follow me, you know that I love painting animals, but I also love using bright, bold, fun colors. So I chose to go with blues, purples, pinks, fun colors instead of painting my little bunny with realistic colors. At this point, my painting was looking pretty bad. All of the colors were dull and bleeding together and getting muddy. I know that was a result of too much water, but I kept going instead of starting over, knowing that this was a learning process for me. Also knowing this was just an underpainting without details, and the bleeding colors could end up being like a really cool effect. I don't know, maybe that's how watercolors are supposed to work. Some of you who are experienced with watercolor are probably cringing at my process. If there's a right or wrong way, I'm probably doing it wrong. The thing with being self-taught is it's just a lot of trial and error. I decided to start building up layers by letting my paint dry completely and then going in with less water to get more vibrant, darker colors and start adding in details like the fur, the eyes, the nose. With my acrylics, I know it's a lot of layering, layer upon layer, so I figured watercolors couldn't be too much different. So this is the approach that I took, and eventually it started to look better. If you have any watercolor tips that could help me out, then please leave them in the comments below. This right here is where my cute little bunny decided to turn into an angry bunny. But I continued to add some more details with this darker blue color, and then I stepped back and looked at him and thought, oh no, he looked so mean and grumpy. I wasn't sure how opaque white watercolor paint would be, but I just put a lot on my brush and very little water to make these whiskers, and it actually worked really well. And here is where I decided to try to turn my grumpy bunny back into a happy bunny. And so I started to work with his eye so that he looked a little bit happier and had a happier expression on his face. This is about the point where I decided that I actually really loved it, and I also had so much fun. I'm 100% going to work on getting better at watercolor, and I never would have known that if I hadn't taken this week to try new things. When he was finished, I decided to display him on my art desk, and I even got a compliment from one of my daughters the next day. On day 3, I decided to attempt an abstract painting on paper with acrylics. I do make abstract backgrounds for my floral and animal paintings, so this wasn't completely new to me, but I've never made just a 100% completely abstract piece without the realistic elements added to it. I'm working on trying to loosen up with my painting. I don't think I completely accomplished that with this piece. My brush strokes and markings are still too thought out and careful, but I do think that this exercise helped me a little bit. It's a start, at least. With my animal paintings, I usually paint the background last because if I use a dark color like this especially, it's hard to paint on top of that, and it really affects the color of the paint that you put on top. So I have to be extra careful to not get paint on top of my subject or my animal. And so even though I do abstract backgrounds, it's hard to really be free and loose and just make mistakes and splatter paint and all of that fun stuff that comes with abstract painting. I chose this hot pink because, again, I love bright, bold colors, and I wanted something that would really pop and stand out in contrast against that black. And even though I chose black as my first color, I ultimately wanted this piece to be a bright and happy piece. I already knew before I started this painting that it was going to be one of the most fun for me. The whole reason why I make fun abstract backgrounds for my animal paintings is because I just enjoy it, and I've always loved the end result. I love that there really are no mistakes with abstract art. There's no color between the lines, if that makes sense. I know that color choice and composition still matter, but there's something so freeing about dripping paint or making a smudge, and instead of it being, oh no, I messed it up, it just becomes part of the piece and really what makes it unique. And the finished product is always so interesting and fun to look at. For a while, I just continued to add more black and more pink in different spots and areas where I thought that it needed something or that something was missing. And so I just played around with those two colors for quite a while. And then I decided to add the white and eventually gold. Something that I started doing early on with my abstract backgrounds is using bubble wrap or different packaging materials, medicine bottles, anything that I can find around my house, even wadded up paper towels, to experiment and make marks on my abstract backgrounds. I just love the way that it looks, and I decided to incorporate some of those elements into this abstract painting. So the first thing that I picked was the bubble wrap. It's one of my favorite. I love the little polka dots that it makes, and I have used this on a lot of my animal paintings. I know a lot of this video is time-lapsed, but it probably took me about an hour to finish this painting. Here I am adding in some of that gold. Gold has been a favorite color of mine lately. I'm finding that I'm wanting to add it to just about every painting that I make lately, at least somewhere. Especially in the bird series that I've been working on, I have put gold in every single one of them. Another theme that you'll notice in a lot of my artwork, if you follow me, is circles. I have an obsession with circles, and a lot of my animal and flower paintings, really most of them, have circles in the background somewhere. And so I collect these packaging materials, containers, medicine bottles, anything with a round shape that can be used for my abstract backgrounds. I collect them. I have a whole basket of what would seem like garbage to some people, but are really my painting supplies. I actually ended up loving this painting when I was finished with it, and I loved it so much and had so much fun that I made a couple more off camera afterwards, and I even liked those ones better. So I feel like I'm learning and growing. I peeled off the tape here and noticed that some of the paint had leaked through, so I ended up painting white over that spot on the edge when I was all finished. I decided to divide this challenge video up into multiple videos just so that they wouldn't be so long. So if you enjoyed this video and you're interested in seeing the other 4 projects that I made, then please subscribe to see part 2 of this video. With a channel as small as mine, every single subscriber helps me to grow my channel and helps to support my small business, and I am so grateful for every one of you. Every time that I get a new subscriber, I pray and I thank God for that person, and so it really does make a difference. You really do matter. To all of you who are already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Please consider leaving a like or a comment. Every little bit helps. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video.